Yo, what is good, everyone? This is some guy on the internet who doesn't care about his username, and today I'm going to be showcasing some of the locations from my mod project True Vegas in Lone 6. This is a project I've spent upwards of 2,000 hours working on, both designing the world and writing the design document. Originally, I meant for my first video on YouTube to be a grand showcase of locations, small details, universe lore, and the project's larger vision as a whole. Now, I had made that video, but unfortunately I forgot to hit screen record in OBS. So I only got the audio for it. Now, I actually have a medical condition that gives me upwards of 100 physical and cognitive symptoms. Cognitive being verbal fluency fluctuation, memory fragmentation, brain fog, amongst a myriad of other symptoms. So it's not easy for me to do videos like this just whenever I want. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just going to compile a bunch of videos of me exploring some of the locations from this project. It's not even all of them. I would say it's probably about 60% of the locations. And it's only the locations in Fallout New Vegas. Nothing that I've done in Fallout 3. Make sure to subscribe to see that upcoming grand video where I really go through everything thoroughly, and also just to see the other content I will be posting, such as Fallout New Vegas content, gaming industry, and just other insightful stuff in general. Without further ado, let's get into the video. That started with Caesar's Legion and eventually turned into the Strip and then turned into Fallout 3. So yeah, it really went crazy there. So this is the first edition. This is a billboard that's a part of soft power for Caesar's Legion. Cool vibe overall. I could explain a lot more, but I'm not going to. I just had to explain that so that like when we see what's going on here. I don't know if I'm going to do that for everything. It's so annoying. Like, I've tried to make this video 5 other times, and I just couldn't do it. I could barely even speak. So this area is one of the earlier areas that I made. It's just it's not polished at all. So, believe me, it gets much better what I've done. Also, the way I design this, sometimes I'll strip stuff from certain parts of either game and place it down and then modify it to where it looks original. But a lot of the stuff is just completely out of my brain, like this, for example. So Caesar's Legion now has like a more of a Roman vibe. Mr. House did a lot of preparations now to make Vegas much more impressive. One of which is like making Vegas and just Nevada in general appealing to billionaires to get a bunch of funding, because now Vegas is like very highly secure. So this is a part of this. A billionaire made this resort on Cottonwood Cove, and this is like gonna be like a ski lift. And essentially they would park up here and then ski lift down and then walk over to here, and there was boating, and you'll see in a second. So this is a coliseum, the makeshift coliseum I mentioned earlier. And the entrance here, basically there's going to be like a network of railway carts. And you get to go up there and go into the bleachers. this is where Caesar himself will be sitting. And again, like I said, I like spectacle. These are for projectors so that everyone can see from any angle. And now it's for slaves. The Legion now has a major voting operation going on over here. This is from back when the resort was a thing. This is the soldiers' intake, where they keep track of them. And in here is where the soldiers stay. So it's going to be a lot of mountain stuff, but I wanted to make Cottonwood Cove actually feel like it had tons of soldiers, tons of people in it. And the entire economy of the world I have written out and made make sense. The entire economy. So like everything is very deeply thought of, and you can see it in the document. I could explain it, but I really just don't want to spend too much time on this video. So this is just for when I initially release. It's just a shame my brain is so... It's not a shame, obviously I'm happy, but just don't have the time. And yeah, you're gonna hear me talk about that a lot. So... And this video will probably still end up being long, because the amount of stuff that I have to show is a lot. And it's really not unbelievable, but it just looks so cool, and it's something that a nomadic tribe would be capable of doing. These are going to be like spikes, and so when someone gets thrown down, they just get chopped up. Here, they get hung from here, and there are mole rats in here, and the mole rats are only tall enough to gnaw off the face and the arms, so the rest of the body is going to be there. And the whole implication behind this is these people got their faces gnawed off while they were alive. footprints that, you know, it wouldn't get invaded. So these aren't going to be a bunch of, I forget what he's called. There's a mod for Titan mechs, and they really fit good into Fallout actually. So that mod, that's kind of my dream, is to have the Titan mechs in here, and they were left over from the Brotherhood, basically. These I just put here because whatever reason, honestly, they might not even last there. But yeah, so this is a base that was created for to protect it pre-war. And this is a huge thing that I do in this mod, is there's now actual real representation for parking. Okay, now the strip just gets insane. So yeah, there's just so much to explain. There's so much to explain.
Gotcha.
This is Fiend territory now. Also, I'm not just gonna pass that factory. So this is the monorail factory. It's not complete yet, the design, but essentially this is going to be the monorail now, because it's retro future, is connected all around the entire valley and then goes in. And the monorail also too, the monorail itself did get exploded, so like the ground around the monorail didn't. So the only ways in are those big paths, the megatunnels you saw. Well, you saw one of them so far. And then also the monorail. But the monorail isn't functioning, so there's going to be a quest to get it working. This here is a freight center. There's going to be big garage doors here. This is a freight center, and they have this little fighting arena. And there's going to be this cool thing where there's going to be Caesar's Coliseum, the Fiend arena, and then also the Thorn. And they have their champions, and they all fight each other, and it's like a big fighting thing. So that's pretty cool. And then even maybe if you do an independent Vegas, you can open up your own or whatever there. Camp McCarran is now here, and it's going to have a full-sized airport, which I have modeled. So this pit here, the only way to get through is through Camp McCarran. They made this hole to prevent the Fiends from coming over here. But now the Fiends, there's so many of them that we had to make something to explain how they don't just come across. Added a super duper mart here. This church that the followers of Apocalypse are going to be in. Obviously the monorail. There's some massive trees, and you're going to see why these massive trees are here laid like that. So I'm going to share a little bit of design philosophy here. So when I made this city like this, way expanded, you need something to like blend areas, because you need to know how to phase areas. Like a lot of mod creators they're talented for obviously free time, right? But there's certain design things with like worlds that are smaller. You have to know how to phase between areas. And so I made these trees here, or I wanted to do trees, but I needed a reason. And I didn't want to make like grown trees. I wanted them to look dead because there's already the trees in that area. So the whole idea behind this is that followers of Apocalypse, they hired people to figure out what was going on with this vault, and they made it all the way to here and then got killed. And so now when these creatures come out, it's even more atmospheric storytelling or environmental storytelling, because you go from dead trees to that. Like the amount of little details and the amount of stuff in this video, I'm literally not doing justice. Like, and I'm also blind to this now, because I've looked at this and thought about this for almost 2,000 hours. So this is going to be trash, piled up trash from these surrounding communities where they just take the trash. Because the Devil's Throat, or not the Devil's Throat, I don't know what it's called. The area that's way over there, that there's a big hole in the ground, and there's a truck in it, I forgot what it's called, that's going to be a landfill now. And Ulysses, before he tried to nuke the NCR and the Legion now, he tried to nuke Vegas. And it didn't work because House of Systems took it down, but one of the nukes only got partly took down, and so when it landed in there, it's now leaking radiation. So that landfill is no longer in commission because it's leaking radiation, and so now there's going to be like a cool like radiation trash storm thing going on, and you need creatures over there. I have not designed that at all yet, by the way. And one of the nukes was successful, and it's going to explain why you can't go too far in this direction. So I'm expanding out how far we're going to be able to go, because I filled up a lot of stuff here and I just want more open land. So I'm going to kind of make like this a mountain here where it's capped, and then everything behind that is going to be irradiated. And the idea behind that is that Ulysses dropped the nuke, and so no one can travel that way. But so that's like the environmental blockade keeping you from going over there. So yeah. Also too, those other things too, like why you can't fly anywhere, but I'm not going to explain that right now. very easily could, but again, I don't have a lot of time. Also, I was thinking I was going to show you Fallout 3 locations as well, but I think I'm just going to save it for the full video. So, you have to subscribe to see that. Oh, I forgot what I said. So these two communities now, so this is Westside, and then this is a community that his brother had made and invested in, a suburban community. House did these even though he was estranged from his brother. He did this to protect his brother, because this is where his brother worked and his brother lived here. But he built these walls. He started buying out the areas and building these walls to protect his brother, which made his brother paranoid even more and further led to him locking himself up. Not to mention now there's also lore between his brother and this one person who is an enemy of Mr. House's pre-war, and his brother tried to betray him, and his brother thinks that Mr. House found out about that on top of everything, which Anthony is his name, which made him even more paranoid, and especially when Mr. House started building around here. This area here now is basically an area where House is sponsoring like hyper intelligent children with potential from the waste, and they get to live in this like suburban bliss neighborhood that's basically been untouched since the bombs. And essentially he's preparing for the future. He's making an educated class and then obviously the workers, so that Vegas has a future. So these different areas. Some of the little details here, the kind of cool stuff that's really fun to design, because doing the layout of this stuff is so, turning nothing into something is annoying, but little details like this, like the gun runners here, I love doing that stuff. It's so fun. Oh, and here's parking, a lot of underground parking you're going to be seeing. Now let's go into Freeside. I'm lazy, I haven't created door markers yet, but Freeside is now, or this area is now basically very close to how big it is in real life. It's not directly really based off of real life, it's somewhat inspired, but yeah. Oh, this dude really bad. Do that again. So a huge thing here is we're making the zip line. Also too, you'll see when I go through here, I've used this glass ceiling thing as kind of like a placeholder. A lot of meshes I'm using are placeholders, by the way. I'm using it as a placeholder for the screen that is in Freeside in real life. Also, overall, I gotta say right quick, Fallout is supposed to be retro future. Fallout New Vegas failed in that the most. The only area that really looked like that is Rapcon. Fallout 3 did a decent job. Fallout 4 just did it too much. So I'm making the design of this. Now Freeside is old Vegas, so it's not too retro feeling. But the strip itself, think in between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, the level of retro feeling it is. Vegas did the least good job at it. I wanted a immersive way to explain where the kids are in the universe. And if you put a bunch of kids in the locations, it kind of messes with the tone of Fallout, and also because unless you have a mod, you can't murder them. It just really messes with the vibes. But there needed to be explanations for where all the children are. So in Freeside, there's an area here. It's called Graceland, because you know Elvis and the vibes or whatever. So this is an area where they take in orphans, essentially, and it's an area that's funded both by the Kings, Mr. House, and the Followers of Apocalypse, which the Followers of Apocalypse have money for a reason I'll explain probably in the longer video. But it's not just for good reasons. Mr. House isn't just doing this for good reasons or even just for workers. There's also a prison through there that prison house is basically renovating it to hold prisoners from across the world that people pay for him to hold them there. Like basically high value people and high value prisoners. And having a bunch of people living around that area basically prevents critters and a bunch of different stuff from being there. So there's like pragmatic reasons why Mr. House is doing that. So it's not Mr. House being virtuous and allocating resources, because that's not really in his character. A lot of thinking, trust me, everything has been well thought out. It's written in the document. When you read the document in comparison to how I'm talking right now, it's gonna be a lot different. I'm really just trying to do this video quickly. There is so much stuff in Freeside. I have shown 1/3 of Freeside to you. I'm not going to show the entire thing. Yeah, I'm just not going to. It's just too much. That's literally just 1/3. It's 1/3. Actually, I'm gonna show a little more. I'm just gonna run through this and show this one area though. I want to show you where the scorpions stand. And I'm gonna do it very quickly. So this is like an area that like they warn you not to go through there because it's not protected. It's basically like the Wild West over here. The scorpions are here. They basically have this little thing where they kind of like coax you, like through the environment, coax you to come in here. The gate goes behind you. There's gonna be a speaker here. They basically tell you to put all your stuff in the trash can. There's gonna be various options for you to like convince them to let you talk to the leader, or to not do that, to just let you go, or whatever. Or you can give them the stuff and just leave, and they just rob you blind. Or you can fight, where if you fight, they release a ton of scorpions, and then the final scorpion is a white scorpion. If you win, you get to then talk to the leader, or you can just fight them, or yeah, a ton of different options. Or the other option is you can, this door is going to be shut, you can lockpick it and come through, and then come around, where eventually when they catch you, they'll be like, how'd you get back here, blah blah blah, and invite you to talk to their leader. But this is a not a landfill, it's a scrapyard. And there's obviously cool little details like that I'm excited to do more of once I have a team and stuff like this. I really like stuff like this. It's just super funny. So this is a little area where they all have sleepovers. And you know, they got their little grill here, they got the projector, they got a generator, which I just destroyed, for the fridge, so that it makes sense that the fridge actually works. Little details like that are super cool to do. Also, by the way, probably gonna repeat myself when I make this video again. So, but it's gonna be a lot more deep and intricate. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go towards the strip. Again, I'm not explaining a lot of things because I don't have the time. When I do have the time, most of the time my body just says no. So yeah, this is just a placeholder for that.
Come to the Silver Rush for all your energy.
Taller, walls taller. This, they got a little ghetto rigged thing.
Come.
Oh, also through here, which I could have showed you this area, but there's also a neighborhood inside of past this area, which I would have to go into the other cell to show you, but yeah, there's a little neighborhood you get to see. This is going to be a shanty town because people love making Fremont a shanty town. So this area through here, I forget what the area is called in real life. Maybe I'll put it on screen. But it's going to be that area, and it's going to be like a shop on the bottom, and then the one building, big building, and then a bunch of shanty stuff all on top of it, interconnected and stuff. So this is the path to that. Now the strip, they have a metal detector for cars to drive through, and a big gate, and that's so no one can smuggle bombs in.
Submit to a credit check.
So now for those of you who came from the Nexus page, which I know most of you, I gotta look it up. You'll get to see where that came from. Obviously I used AI to upscale it. But yeah, now the strip has a massive entrance that is really worthy of the strip. Security, spectacle. And I'm just thinking right now too, when I first made this, how awestruck I was. Like, this first video, if I would take it slower, it would really give people time to freak out. I'm sure a lot of people will still be freaking out. So now for the strip is its full scale, completely explorable. Yeah, I made the full scale completely explorable. I'm going to go through this very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Howdy, partner!
So the logistics speaking, right? There is representation, or not even representation, full-on logistics for how the strip sustains itself. Like, there's mass housing units, and mind you, a lot of this stuff is going to be empty by design of the lore, because, you know, it's only 7 years since, you know, House revealed himself and the NCR and the Legion came in, so a lot of it is empty by design on purpose, because I'm not making Vegas into something it's not. But also a lot of the stuff that I'm doing with this world is to set it up for a Fallout in Vegas 2, which obviously that's very ambitious. I'm not saying at all that's going to happen, but I'm definitely going to write about it. you know, and make my fantasies into writing. And, you know, if Project True Vegas and Lone Six happens, and I get a big enough team, and to where I can really be a creative director, and we can actually do some crazy stuff, then maybe it would be attempted. But another thing I wanted to do with Vegas was, so many people make vehicle mods. Like the Fallout fan base loves vehicles for some reason. So I wanted to make this city to where like vehicles are needed. So with the roads, yeah, they're longer so that you actually need vehicles, and there's going to be like taxis and buses going through routes and everything. And also too, the roads are going to be 4x4, not 2x2. There's just way too much to explain. The amount of writing and thinking and stuff, I can't explain it all. But, so essentially these two communities, Mr. House built around here and started buying this stuff out to protect his brother. This is like a suburban neighborhood that is basically untouched. And then this is Westside, I think is what it was called, or, oh, Vegas Square. So, this made Mr. House's brother even more paranoid, especially because new lore that I wrote where Mr. House's brother actually partnered up with, or Anthony partnered up with the mob to try to overthrow Mr. House. And Mr. House didn't find out about that, but that made his brother even more paranoid, especially when Mr. House started doing this to protect his brother. So it's one of those like really interesting scenarios. So a big thing is, where are all the kids in Fallout? I have answered that question. You can see in the document how intricately I did. This area is an area called Graceland, and it's like an orphanage that is funded from the Kings, the followers of Apocalypse, which they have a reason that they have a good amount of money now, and then Mr. House. Mr. House is in there for pragmatic reasons. Basically that being, there's a prison in there, and he's basically bringing the prison back to functioning. And there are very high value inmates from across the wasteland that people pay to have there, because it's like the most fortified area in the wasteland. And so having people live around this area, even though a lot of them are kids, it keeps critters out, and basically the followers of Apocalypse guard the area. So it's like basically a bunch of human shields for him. It would be out of Mr. House's character to do something like that and expend resources in the time period that he's in right now. So this video, if you're watching this right now, subscribe and like. The video is not going to be up forever. It's going to get took down for when I actually do a much better job explaining things. But here is the cover of the Nexus page, which I used AI to kind of upscale it, but yep, that's the entrance. So filled with very high security. Any way you can look, you can explore.
Welcome to Vegas.
So another thing too with Mr. House's contingency is he planned for, you know, how I told you how he basically turned Vegas into an island, and a lot of the outer valley is, you know, cut off. He built a bunch of mass housing units, and these are kind of retro, future feeling. Those 3 different mass housing districts, and basically I wanted the strip to make sense, like logistics, like where people lived. It needed to be shown in the game and not just implied. And obviously, as you're seeing how big the inside is, that's why I had to create the smog. So the smog allows that optical illusion to work properly. So the next thing I'm going to show you is something called the Sterling Estate, which is a mansion, and it has a very important purpose. I'm going to explain the entire reason that I created this. Is one thing in the lore that to me was kind of unimmersive, is when you're debating with Mr. House for him to raise the price for the caps for the platinum chip. Him doing the freak out is absolutely warranted, but the price is not. For someone who's been looking for that for decades and decades, who spent hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars worth of caps trying to find it, it's pretty unimmersive to think that he would like argue over the price. Now you could maybe make the justification that he like purposely wants to keep the courier broke so that he can control the courier with money. That could kind of be fair, but I don't really think that's what was intended. That was kind of never implied anywhere. That's kind of like a headcanon sort of thing, and even that thought, that didn't cross my mind until like very recently. But now this mansion, essentially, when you ask for the price hike, it goes up to a certain amount, and then he'll offer you this mansion. This is a way of showing you how valuable the platinum chip is, because it really should be that valuable. This is a way of showing you how valuable the platinum chip is without breaking the game's economy. And so he essentially gives you this mansion, and it makes the platinum chip really feel like what it should be worth. But obviously, Mr. House, being the shrewd businessman he is, he's not just going to give you that without you having a high enough barter. You know, this isn't charity. So it also shows you how valuable the courier is to him. The courier should be worth a lot more than 5,000 caps, or 500, whatever it was. This is a little retro future cleaning area. It's a car wash. I'm gonna go through this very quickly now and just run through it just for you to see the scale, because I'm kind of getting tired and yeah. But yeah, no, in this mod, parking is accounted for, or take a while walking. This is gonna be the Vegas sign. I just put this here as a placeholder, and not the Vegas sign like that the guy shoots off of. That's all the way at the back end, because the strip is its full size now. No, this is going to be the other one that's close to Lucky 38 in real life. So now this is the filtration for the smog. So this keeps the smog out, and these are going to be like osculating around, and this is gonna be across the entire ceiling. So it's gonna make it feel more retro future. And the thing is, right, is House is supposed to be one of the most advanced technologists in the series, right? So like, the strip should somewhat represent that. Also too, Mr. House is too bougie to have Securitron just going across the ground like that. Maybe like a couple, but now they're mainly here and they're connected in the towers. And yes, you're gonna be able to go up here, but you're not gonna be able to go in here. And there's gonna be a smoke in here that prevents people from going in, that like would kill them if they try to go in or something like that. Because yeah, I don't want you seeing over the walls, because with an old game like this, you have to be creative, right? So like I want the area to feel massive, but like segmented off. And now it's because Mr. House, he's even more like who he was in real life. He's based off of Howard Hughes, Hughes or whatever, Howard Hughes. And he was like paranoid, right? And so Mr. House Doomsday prepped way better. And that's a Securitron, the original factory that created them. This is going to be the zoo that the White Glove Society runs. Circus, this is where like all the kids are going to be from the strip. For the kids, that's a bang. This is a big building. Oh, this is really cool. This is a super duper mart that sells vehicles. Now there's 2 locations that sell vehicles. This is one of them. And that's how you get up to the vehicle section. But this is like the super duper mart of super duper marts. It's the super duper duper mart. Then you come through here, and this leads to an area, and this is a long road. And a lot of these buildings are based off of real life areas. But this leads to, I guess I'm gonna show right quick. Also, this is a cool retro future road. Obviously, that's just a placeholder, but yeah. They have a hospital, one of the only functioning hospitals in the world, and House has vertebrate fleets, and all this may sound like House. I think I said this, but it might have got cut out because my camera died. But House may sound overpowered, but if you read the document, it's all balanced. They all have they've all been upscaled. This is retro future parking, so how tall this building is gonna be this. And these are basically parking units where like there's a lift and it lifts up and takes your car out, and then so you can drive around. So this is all retro future feeling. Going through this super fast. Yeah, there's just a lot. Honestly, I think I might cap it off here pretty soon, because I think that's enough for a video for people to get the idea. Let's see if I can do player dot set AV action points. Okay, we're just gonna be able to run forever now. So yeah. Vegas feels like an actual city. This is another area. There's so many areas in here. There's so many areas, and they all have their own kind of different vibes. This is going to be a massive underground water filtration place. So now House gets his water not from Lake Mead, he gets it from an underground reservoir that he found, because under his industrial expansion, he created ways to go lower into Earth than like what other people were capable of doing. So he found that water reserve, which, trust me, that makes it a lot less complicated for how the strip has water. It's kind of a MacGuffin, but dealing with how people get water is just really huge for something as big as Vegas to survive. And there's just so much that can go wrong with just getting it lake feed. So, again, in the document, all of this is explained, and this video is a version of me not explaining things very well. So now there's a the racetrack is 24/7. Real life in Vegas, they have to block off the roads. Now, it's like in the sky, and you know, it's a retro future kind of vibe. Oh, this is Pirate Island, or Treasure Island, whatever. Placeholders there. This is the Flamingo. This is the mall. Caesar's Palace is going to be there. This is a retro future version of the casino, so they have like numerous levels. So there's like this lower level, and then like most of the casinos are built on platforms, and so like it's retro future levels to this. Kung Cobra, I believe it is, made some really cool assets. This is, it's glitching, but this is the Eiffel Tower crashed over, and there's a war behind why that is. There's gonna be everything. This is the big water fountain thing, the Balenciaga, I think, or something like that. This is the Tropicana. Some of the buildings, they're placed sometimes not exactly how they are in real life, because game design matters a lot, so you gotta balance vibes out. This is New York, New York. This is Paradise Falls, which is now also located in the Strip. That's going to be a baseball stadium. Okay, there we go. I got off track for a second. So this is going to be I forget what it's called. But it's repurposed now into a Greek-themed place. This is going to be a museum, technology museum that House runs. This used to be casino. It's called Tomorrow's Promise. This area, whatever it was called, the Excalibur, yeah. So it's repurposed to be a Greek-themed place, and now it's basically contractors from across the wasteland have bought out like major big rooms. So this is like the highest luxury in the world. And a really fun little cool thing is with Fallout 3, Tenpenny owns a place here. And so now when you do the quest or whatever where Burke disappears, you can find him in here. So just really cool stuff like that. The MGM here. And I think I said this, maybe it got cut out, but I'm really not doing this justice how fast I'm moving through this. Like I could deliver this way better, and like it would be even more awe-striking. Like I'm doing a disservice to just truly how expansive this is. And then there's this college area, so the college is cool and retro future and all connected, and then they have a bunch of indoor facilities, like this is basketball. One of these is football, one of them's baseball, one of them's track and field, and there's parking and everything. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. Mind you, I've also done stuff with Fallout 3. This is a massive library, which has a ton of pre-war books, because Mr. House is preparing. So that was my very quick video. It probably was like an hour still, but I'm going to be re-releasing this video in a future time, and it's going to be much longer and explain a lot more. It's going to probably be a lot more enthusiastic. So maybe I'll do a stream of it. Maybe I'll stream it if I'm feeling extra healthy that day and I get enough subscribers from this. But in the end of the day, if you are interested in joining the mod project, message me on the Nexus or email me or YouTube comment, whatever you want to do. That's the whole point of making this video. But really make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be talking about this mod project and probably just Fallout stuff in general. I have a lot of interesting insights on these things. So appreciate you watching the video. Appreciate you downloading the mod, and hope y'all have a good one.